Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
Hello, this is Ralph White, and we're Consulting to Win Radio, and we're here coaching you in the game of business to win. And we define winning as results you can be accounted for. And I'm here today with Leanne Farmer, my co-host. How are you today, Leanne?
I'm doing mighty fine, Ralph. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. So after leading 2 teleconference calls, and now we're on the radio, we've got a busy day today. So we're working with lots of people. Who do we have as a guest today, Leanne?
I'm really excited about today's show, Ralph. We've got Cesar Mansoura with us. He's the president of Beach Lending. And if there is any industry that we know or that we work with that has gone through the roller coaster, through the meat grinder, through every possible challenge over the last few years, it is the real estate industry and mortgage lending in particular. Cesar is a mortgage lender. He works, his office is based in Redondo Beach, and he's going to talk to us today about making good decisions in tough times. Cesar, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. How are you guys today?
We're doing great.
Excellent. So, Cesar, given that you're in business during this time, that tells me you know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's been a pretty interesting time for us, but yeah, things are actually doing okay.
So obviously you're making good decisions in tough times, which is the theme for our show. So what is it that's working for you in your industry? What are you doing right?
Let's see. Number one, I guess, is everybody in our industry usually always at one time needs money, and so that need's always going to be there. It's just a matter of making sure that people will know that you're still in business, know that you're still doing loans, know that you offer a high level of service, and then continue to keep in touch with them so that when they need your service, they can get in contact with you.
How are you finding money in this marketplace?
The perception is that there's not a lot of money out there. There's not a lot of people lending. When in actuality, there is a lot of people that are lending. The difference is that you have to prove it. So if you're proving, if you're able to, in terms of that being on your taxes. So the person who's self-employed, who's showing that they don't make a lot of money every month on their taxes, is going to have a hard time getting a loan. The person who's working as a W-2 and they're paying their taxes and they're showing exactly how much money they make, they usually have a pretty good opportunity of getting a loan.
Yeah, because you're talking about most of our clients.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
Right. I want to back up the truck a little bit, and because Ralph pointed to the fact that Cesar has kind of made it through the real estate crunch, and he's still in business and still being able to provide loans to people, and there's still people out there that need loans. But I know Cesar over the last couple of years it's been a little bit of a rocky road. I want to kind of go back to when things were good. But what was about the size of your company and the amount of volume that you were doing, before things started to go south in the market? Okay, Cesar will be back with it. We're having a little bit of technical trouble, and Cesar's going to be. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I don't know if you were able to hear my question or not.
No, I was
Okay, I want to kind of go back to what we want to get through in this segment is kind of how you weathered the storm. So before the storm started, what was about the size or volume that you were doing in your business, and how many employees did you have at that time?
Let's see. I guess at the height of our business, I actually had 3 companies. I had a real estate, mortgage, and escrow company. And I had about 27 agents and about 6 to 7 support staff at that time.
Uh-huh.
And our gross revenue was well over about $3.5 million a year.
Okay.
So, and during that time, as we started to see things, I started to see things change it became pretty difficult to basically make the decision in terms of like finding out just realizing that I had to make a choice as to let people go or to cut costs or cut spending was a difficult reality point for us.
Right, and you certainly haven't been alone. A lot of our clients, not even in this industry, have had to make some tough choices. So what was your process? I mean, how did you go about making those decisions or deciding what actions to take? Where did you start?
First, I think the hardest part for me was to, as a person who I consider kind of competitive, was to realize that what I was doing wasn't working. Being that even though the market's changing and everything else, trying to realize that hey, I do need to make a change. Things that I'm doing are not working because we're not bringing in the money we need. Even though the market's changing, was difficult. Once I got past that, it was easy to decide what to do. The hardest part, though, was talking to somebody and letting them know that we were going to let them go. The hardest part was deciding, which people we were going to keep, and which ones we were going to let go, and keeping the ones that we let go didn't necessarily mean that they weren't producing or they weren't making any money for us. It's just that we couldn't afford to sustain helping them, and that became kind of difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I ended up having to get a couple, like my office manager. She started to do processing for us as well as manage the office. And so we had, so we decided to kind of double up on projects and letting some people go, even though the business kind of was still bringing in a certain amount of money certain amount of transactions every month. However, those transactions weren't as large as they used to be or as frequent, and so we had to let other staff go, and that was a hard thing to do.
Yeah, I think that we try to coach a lot of our clients into this space of, the people that using your resources wisely. If you can cross-train somebody to be doing kind of two jobs at once, or where can you find the cost reductions, not just in people, but in maintaining your efficiency. And so it sounds like you found yourself in a similar situation there.
Yeah, it was that's absolutely the case. One of the things that I had to do is, to look at, okay, I have a processor, I have an office manager, and I have a receptionist, and that's 3 salaries. And if I was to take up more slack on my own by answering the telephones or by having some of the other staff do that, we could get rid of maybe a $2,000 a month salary. And going from there to looking at the processor and how much her workload was, and then looking at the office manager, at that point was the decision you make is to choose someone who is okay with maybe taking a step down in position in order to keep their job. And so people, you usually keep during that time with people who embrace the change. Mm-hmm. And those are the people that we looked at to keep, and versus someone who would maybe complain during that change. It was very difficult for us during that time period to, anyways, and to have someone that was not embracing the change that we were going to make was difficult.
So are you saying that the people you chose to keep were the ones that had the more cooperative attitude?
That's correct.
So what I'm hearing is that you looked at what was really going to come in the way of income, and then you looked at what can I afford, and then you looked at your people based on attitude and ability, and that was sort of the decision-making process.
That's right.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
That was completely the case.
Yeah. So I think it's important for people to hear how important attitude is. I don't think in that process, because that the willingness and the can-do, really plays a lot, in that decision process. Because I've seen with a lot of companies, last year, a lot of companies downsized. A lot of companies made a lot of changes, and a lot of employees embraced it and said, "Fine." Oftentimes we've worked with owners that have angst about it. The employees don't realize what the owners go through in making these decisions. You know, they think, oh, the owner just walks in one day and cuts 3 people and doesn't care.
Right.
That's not the case. I've never met anyone that says, wow, I get to go to work today and fire 3 people or lay 3 people off. I've never met anyone that enjoys that part of their job. Like you said, it was very difficult. But so you angst about it, you work on it, and you're looking at what do I have to buy? What can I afford to buy, and still keep the business in existence and grow with it. So it's a very challenging decision. When you looking back, so this occurred over what period of time?
It occurred from basically from about 2000, probably the beginning of 2007, and then all through 2008.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
So
good 2-year process.
yeah. In looking back, is there any decisions that you made that you regret?
I think I didn't move fast enough.
Okay.
Was the biggest one for us. I mean, you make $30,000 in the month of December, and your expenses are $50,000. You got a problem.
Right.
And if it goes on for us, it went on like that for like 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you have a savings that you develop over time, you start to end up pushing that. When you start pulling from your savings to keep the business going, then, you have a problem.
Yeah.
And for me, it was making the tough decision of letting that person go a little sooner than what I initially had wanted would have been a better choice.
Yeah, I think our listeners would be extremely wise to listen to what you just said. That your only regret is that you didn't move faster. You sucked up your savings, living in hope that something would change. And what?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what you're
also you've as a business owner, most of my were 27, 28 people, 30 people max in the company. You're still considered a small business, and so with that, you have the relationships that you develop with people over time.
Right.
And so the family, you really don't want to let them go. It's about Christmas time right now. It's November. Do you wait until January to let them go, or do you let them go before the holidays start?
right.
Caesar, what are some of the strategies? I know that you've spoken to me about some of the things you did to just personally kind of keep your sanity, if you will, during this tough time, because I think a lot of people go through this and it really puts great weight on their shoulders. What are some things that people can do to kind of get through that personal element of it?
I think the hardest part is just to understand that, that day that you wish would never happen, it comes, but it also goes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can kind of bring yourself back further than keeping yourself right in the mix of what's going on, understand this is just a phase of your life that you're going through. It's important. And the other one was, for a business owner and anybody that's going through any type of financial times, you're in a lot of stress. And so for me, I was staying up at night, worrying about our stuff, going through paperwork, and I began to realize that I was really starting to gain a little bit of weight, starting to get a little bit cranky, and on and on, and all the symptoms that you expect that you hear about somebody having a heart attack because their business is not doing too well.
Right.
So I, big into sports, and so I joined a men's soccer team.
Excellent.
To get me to have some exercise, and so what that was able to do for me really was just to kind of vent a little bit, be able to play, have some competition, and something I really totally wasn't thinking about my business. Because I was on a team, you show up and you don't perform well, people are going to say something to you, so out of shame, you go exercise during the week, so you can get so when you get there on the weekend, you're doing okay. Type stuff. That really actually definitely helped me quite a bit.
Yeah, I think Caesar's pointing to something really important because it's so... you almost might feel guilty about taking that time for yourself when you've got all these people depending on you and you're making all these tough decisions. But if you're not taking care of yourself physically and mentally through that process, it's just really going to wear you down to nothing, and you might not be in the position to, keep that business. You're not really helping anybody.
Right.
You're not helping your family. You're not helping yourself. And you're not helping your business if you have run yourself into, complete disrepair, if you will. So as hard as it is, you've got to find the time to take care of yourself during tough times like that.
Yeah, the exercising, getting plenty of rest. I mean, running a business is like being an athlete. I mean, you've got to be prepared. You've got to be in good shape, or it will suck the health out of you. So
yeah,
I think
that statement there about being an athlete in business, I completely agree with that. That's a lot of the way I feel about the market and the way that the mortgage business has gone. I'll talk to clients or colleagues who've left the business, and they'll say, "Oh, the industry was just so bad. I had to quit. It was just too much." It sounds like I coach soccer. It sounds like my kid's soccer team, my daughter's soccer team. They come off the field and say, "Well, we lost because it was hot." It was hot for the other team. They won.
Right.
Right.
And so on that end, it's really conditioning and hydration. It's not because it was hot. You got to look within and realize that there's still mortgages being done out there. There's still people that need money. There's still families that have a need for your service. You just have to find them.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta step it up if you want to stay in the game.
Yeah.
Well, now that you're kind of through on the other side, and in our next segment, we're going to give Caesar more of an opportunity to talk about the services that he provides. But now that you've kind of been through this season of your business, what part of these decisions, or how did these decisions impact how you run your business going forward? Have you changed your ways in any way, or?
Yeah, I have quite a bit. I mean, one of the things is I've really changed my business model.
Uh-huh.
And that has helped me quite a bit. And that my business model was, the agents make a certain amount of money. Then anything past the expenses, and that's in a sense mine to keep as a business owner. And the model that I changed to was my own personal production covers all the costs, and then whatever they make is extra.
Very good. I tell people that losing money is a class in the business school that everyone has to take at some time or another. And if you haven't had it yet, it's in the future. I took the class in 1989, and I'd never lost money in 3 months. And first 3 months of 1989, I lost about $250,000 in a 3-month time period. And I learned a lot in making the adjustments and dealing with that created a whole different way of doing business. It makes you serious about doing business. It makes you practical about doing business. It makes you on top of the numbers, definitely improves your ability to manage cash flow, and makes you much more focused on profit if you weren't before. So it really sort of trues you up in the game.
Yeah, it's one of the things that after end of 2000, starting in 2009, starting to make some payments back to some debt that we had, and my wife was asking me, why do you okay with you don't seem to get too upset over paying this thing. Your attitude's a little different. And I said, well, I look at it as I went to business school and I'm paying off my student loans.
Right. Very well put. Very well put.
That's excellent.
Okay. We're going to take a break here, and if you have any questions for Caesar, the call-in number is 310-371-5444. That's 310-371-5444, and we'll be right back.
Do you own your own business? What would happen if your computer system crashed? Would you be able to recover in a reasonable amount of time? Left Brain Tech's computer services caters to business owners who want reliable computer systems that work and are backed up in case of emergency. For your entire computer needs, call 888-239-2216 or visit leftbraintechs.com. IT solutions done right with Left Brain Techs. That's 888-239-2216 or leftbraintechs.com.
Making it perfect or nothing else is the company culture at Goldbrecht USA, a premier luxury window and door manufacturer. Doing business since 1889, every window and door is made with old-world craftsmanship and the finest materials, meticulous design, sleek finishing, and a commitment to the environment. They even use environmentally friendly transportation. Made in Germany, available in the U.S., Goldbrecht USA is located in Santa Monica, California. For the world's best windows and doors, visit www.goldbrechtusa.com or call now at 310-393-5540. That's 310-393-5540.
If you're like the 8 out of 10 women that say finding jeans that fit is a problem, well, your problem is solved. Lee Jeans has done extensive research, and they have jeans that fit. There's even an online Lee Fit Finder so you can find the right fit for you. Imagine jeans that instantly slim you with a custom fit and no gap waistband. And guys, kids, Lee has jeans for you too. Click through to Lee's Jeans on the HealthyLife.net advertiser page and get what fits.
Put a little light in your life and keep it shining with Intellectric.net, a full-service lighting design company. If you need a top electrical contracting firm to deal with all facets of electrical, from concept to completion, including repair, call Intellectric.net at 310-838-5486. They can use green technology. They are home automation specialists, and they are high-end residential specialists. With prompt and efficient service, Intellectric.net has over 10 trucks, 28 employees, and on-call electricians available to handle your needs. Educated in state-of-the-art techniques and technology for all your electrical needs. Call dependable, innovative Intellectric.net today at 310-838-5486. Keep your light shining. Call 310-838-5486 or visit online at Intellectric.net.
HealthyLife.net for healthy side effects.
Welcome back. This is Ralph White and Leanne Farmer, and we're Consulting to Win Radio. And our guest today is
Cesar Mansour from Beach Lending.
Right. And we're talking about good decisions in tough times. And Cesar's give us some real good insights on how to manage your business when things are not going your way and how to turn things around. I think it's very impressive of the turnaround that you've made, Cesar. I'm interested in knowing, are you more profitable now than you were before?
Yes.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Per transaction, actually, we're much more profitable.
Yeah. That's an interesting phenomenon. Like last year, I have a client that was, their sales were like $4 million the year before, and they made about $500,000 worth of net profit. Last year, their sales were like $2.5 million, and they made about $500,000 net profit. And they downsized, they changed things around, and they were like astounded. They never believed it, that they could make the same amount of profit on that amount of sales. But
right, and they actually have more free time too.
Right. Well, and I think the key was that they reacted faster. They would look forward in a month and they say, well, last month we made a profit. This month, our income is going to be this amount. So they would reduce labor, they would reduce purchases, and adjust to their projection.
That's great.
Yeah, that's the key. I think that businesses operate with too many fixed expenses, and that if we look at our expenses as variable, like labor is variable, other things are variable that we tend to consider to be fixed. And if we create them as variable and buy what we need, based on what our projections are that are realistic. I think that we should have two projections in sales. We have the accounting department's projection, and then we have the sales department's projection, which should always be higher. But we like as the owner, you need to have like three hats. One is the sales manager, which is very optimistic, very highly driven, pushing for a big number. And then you got the production manager's hat, who's figures out how to deliver whatever the sales manager sells. And then you got the operations manager's hat that says, "Show me the beef. I don't believe it until I see the money crossing the door."
Yes, definitely. You're somebody who's got every hat. I mean, I always think, I'm the president. I'm the fax boy. I'm the I'm the sanitation guy. I'm everything.
Yeah, it's like you draw an organization chart with 20 boxes, and each box says me, 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 me.
Right. I mean,
So-
you're definitely delegating, but at the end of the day, if it's not done, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
How about training? What have you done in that arena in your business?
That's been a big thing for me. I think one of the things that's kept us really successful, or my business successful, has been kind of a systematic way of the way we do business. And so when it comes to training, I'm just trying to make sure that I've cross-trained the two ladies that work for me and the staff. Basically, just especially my main gal, she's able to do everything. And in terms of whether she helped close our escrow office, she worked for the real estate. She did processing. She was also the office manager for us when we had all the people there. So that was a big deal to be able to make sure that she was able to do every task, and in case something happens. So kind of recreating myself, if you will. So
Right.
better and improved, right?
Definitely an improved model.
New and improved.
Right. Yeah. So that's another very valuable point. I mean, you've got a lot of very valuable insight, very valuable actions you've taken. The cross training gives you more flexibility. The moving people around gives you more flexibility and reduces your costs. What are some of the other things that you've done to make your business more efficient?
My main piece is really that my most efficient thing was to really hone in on a business plan that has kept me the most focused, and which has helped me to be the most efficient. Having a business plan that is really what I consider airtight is really what's helped me. What starts to help you is, if you're, as my mortgage business has gone, as we talked about a little while ago, I've changed the production side of it to where I can, my own production can cover the office and all the expenses. Anything else, someone else makes its profit. I have an empty office in my place here. I was looking at it. Hey, if I have a couple desks, I could probably hire a couple of agents. That'd probably be a good idea. But then as I look back on my business plan, that's not part of my plan. And so I can stick to my business plan and not get sidetracked. And that's probably the number one thing that I've found is, even though it sounds like a great opportunity, it may not be the opportunity you need.
Right.
Trying not to get too focused on it.
How about a couple of desks and rent them out?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, Caesar, we're going to keep you on for another segment, but let's start talking about the mortgage market. I mean, how healthy is the real estate market? Are we seeing signs of life? What's happening in the mortgage industry right now?
Okay, we can chat about that. Basically, the main thing is that, right now, at least for the next, month or so, rates are extremely low, and the home prices are extremely low. It is definitely an excellent time to buy right now, and it's an excellent time to do a refinance if you haven't done so in the last 2 years. So.
And what kind of people? I mean, is there a particular client that should be buying as opposed to anybody else? I mean, you talked about credit risks and things, but is there a particular first-time buyer is now the time to get in, or?
If you're on the verge of thinking about, hey, should I buy a house, should I buy an investment property, and you feel that you have the financial stability to do that, then that's the time to really take a look at whether or not it's feasible. Numbers don't lie. And so if the home prices are really low right now and the interest rates are really low right now, so now is a good time to buy if you're in the market for sure. If you wait a few months, the rates may increase, and the housing prices will increase slightly just because of the season. No matter what the economy is, between April and August is the buying season for real estate.
Uh-huh.
After August, you have school starts again, and parents don't want to move because they don't want to move school districts. Companies usually don't move people because of the same reason. So you'll have a lot more homes for sale, a lot more buyers out during the summertime than you will during the wintertime. So this being February, is a good time to buy in terms of house prices and where they would be just normally, even if it was August compared to now.
Uh-huh.
So.
And before somebody starts going to open houses and that kind of thing, should they come see you first and get a handle on how much they can afford? Do you help them figure out that number?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's our main piece. Most of my business is really mortgage planning, which is I run my business a lot like a financial planner would run their business. However, the difference is I just focus on the mortgage. And so it's important to really do an analysis of your property and your mortgages, at least once a year, just like you would with any other professional you have. And then just see, how much is my house worth? What if I refinance today? Would it be different? More money, less money? That's important to know.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people don't think in terms of visiting their mortgage broker every year, whether they need it or not,
Yeah, I think it's because a lot of the reasons is, the profession has been more of a, hey, I'll just do the loan for the person rather than actually, help them plan their largest payment of their life.
Okay. Very good. Well, Caesar, I hope you can stay on for one more segment with us. We're going to talk a little bit more in the next segment about mortgages and taxes and all of those things, and going to give Caesar an opportunity to tell our listeners more about the services that he provides at Beach Lending, how you can get in touch with him. And certainly, if you want to ask Caesar a question, give us a call here at 310-371-5444. This is Consulting to Win, and we'll be back in a minute.
Imagine Possibilities Unlimited. Well, they're here, and they want to help your business. Possibilities Unlimited offers the best business consulting and coaching that provides incredible results. Ralph White and his team of experts bring a variety of experience and expertise to your business. Discover how their whole life matrix can positively affect your personal and business life. Focusing on key challenges, they'll devise a customized plan and give you the support you need every step of the way until you achieve your intended results. Call Possibilities Unlimited today at 310-372-8538. That's 310-372-8538. No business is too big or too small. Possibilities Unlimited can help them all. Call now at 310-372-8538 or visit consulting2win.com. That's consulting2win.com.
Do you own your own business? What would happen if your computer system crashed? Would you be able to recover in a reasonable amount of time? Left Brain Tech's computer services caters to business owners who want reliable computer systems that work and are backed up in case of emergency. For your entire computer needs, call 888-239-2216 or visit leftbraintechs.com. IT solutions done right with Left Brain Techs. That's 888-239-2216 or leftbraintechs.com.
Oh man, it never fails. My suitcase just got ripped apart.
Life is a journey. Make it a pleasant one. Use Samsonite. You know the name. For almost a century, Samsonite luggage has proved itself to be the worldwide leader in innovative travel solutions. Let it be yours. Visit HealthyLife.net's affiliate Samsonite on our homepage and click to look at the fine luggage from suitcases to golf travel bags. And don't forget, take a look at their travel accessories. Make life a journey, a pleasant one, with Samsonite.
Whether your business is in products or services, one thing you need to be successful is sales. And now you can take the mystery out of selling and discover how to consistently produce top sales results with Possibilities Unlimited 8-week Sales to Win course. The Sales to Win course can be attended by anyone from anywhere because it's given by conference call. You'll be taught by top sales and marketing experts all about the sales process, and you'll be given top techniques and tips. It's all simply broken down for you and presented in a stress-free environment. But the best thing is, it's so affordable. It's money well spent because you'll make even more money back with your increased sales. Don't wait. Enroll in the Sales to Win course for yourself and your sales staff right now. You won't want to miss this opportunity to raise your bottom line. Call 310-372-8538. That's 310-372-8538.
HealthyLife.net, the positive radio network.
All right, welcome back. This is Ralph White and Leanne Farmer, and we're Consulting to Win, and we're talking with Caesar Manzoor, and we're talking about good decisions in the tough times. And Caesar, I want to know, how do I choose a mortgage broker? What are the questions I should ask so that I know that I'm getting the right guy to handle my needs?
I think one of the things you want to ask is how long we've been in the business.
Okay.
Anything around 3 years or more is be pretty decent. The other one you want to ask is what kind of banks they use.
Okay.
And who they're associated with. That's kind of the main piece. And then the last, I think the most important piece is you want to see is how are they just the kind of person that's just going to give you a loan, or are they the kind of person that's really going to evaluate you what your financial situation is? So, in other words, I want a 30-year loan, and I want this rate, and this, you're kind of directing them. That's important for them to be able to listen to you, but it's also important for them to take a full look at your finances and maybe offer some other alternatives, which is important.
I'm sorry.
When you're talking about what kind of banks, given all of the challenges with banks.
You took my question, Ralph.
I'm sorry. I was like, okay.
What's the answer to the bank question?
Yeah, what's the answer to that one?
Just to give you an idea, so our company is consider like a direct lender.
Okay.
So, where you could go walk into Chase, or you can walk into Wells Fargo, or you can walk into GMAC, or any major bank in the country to get a loan. Working with my company, you kind of doing the same thing, walking into one door. We will underwrite the file in our main office. We'll actually fund the loan and basically collect the first check. And then sell it to or give it to the either Chase, Wells Fargo, or Bank of America, whichever major bank it is. So when we do an appraisal, for example, that appraisal is going to be done for our company to take to the bank that we're going to go to. If you go to Wells Fargo and you go get your one loan at Wells Fargo, and then they say, hey, we can't do the loan, but Bank of America will. Well, Bank of America's going on a new appraisal, and so that's another $450 out of your pocket. And then they're also, their guidelines may be a little different. You have to provide some more paperwork, make another application completely delay the process. Where with us, when we're moving forward, we've already chosen the bank that we're going to go to because of their guidelines, because we know they can complete it. And so it's really a key portion as to when you're using a broker as to what major banks do they have. Are they a direct lender, or how are they really getting access to the banks?
So mortgage brokers have to develop relationships with the banks, and as a consumer, I want to know what relationships you have with what banks.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the case.
All right. What now, for our listeners, I want to point out again that Caesar is working in the Southern California area, specifically in Los Angeles. So Caesar, if anybody out there needs to refinance or is looking at buying that first home in this area, how can they get in touch with you?
The best way to get a hold of us is obviously to call our office, and that's 310-370-3040, and then we're in Redondo Beach. You can also access us on the web, and that's beachlending.com. And those are the best two ways to get access to us. The main thing that you don't want to do when you're looking at buying a home, or you're looking at that kind of stuff, is you want to ask yourself, is somebody going to manage my mortgage after, or currently are they managing my mortgage now? A lot of mortgage brokers aren't. They're just getting you your loan, and then you end up getting a gift card, or you get some type of Christmas card in the mail, but they're really not analyzing and reviewing your mortgage on a monthly or quarterly basis to make sure that you're saving the most amount of money.
Mm-hmm. So if for your clients, are you providing periodic rate analyses and things like that to make sure they're still in the best loan, or how do you go about giving that extra service?
Yeah, that's the main piece about being the difference between being for lack of a loan consultant or a mortgage planner.
Mm-hmm.
The difference being is that you're really managing their mortgage. So a lot of times I'll ask someone who's managing your mortgage, and they'll kind of give me kind of a blank stare for a little bit. And the main reason is because most mortgage loan consultants are just getting you your loan and doing the transaction for you. But on the mortgage planning side, with the what I do is I send out something to them to my clients every month or 2 months, depending on the cycle. And I'll have, like, say you have a 360-month loan, which is 30 years, and now your loan is 320 months in. So you'll show, like, you have 320 months left. Here's your payments. If you refinanced and got a 5-year loan or a 30-year or a 15-year, here's what you would pay monthly, more or less. $100 more or $100 less a month, depending on the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the bottom portion, it'll show if you decided to pay an extra $100, $200, or $300 a month towards the mortgage, how much you'd save over the life of the loan and interest and stuff, and how fast you'd pay it off.
That's really good information to have, and you just send it out, and I don't even have to do any math myself.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. And the other piece is nice is that, I kind of joke with is, but it's true, people get busy. I usually say, hey, I'm going to send this to you. When I'm a new client, I'm going to send this to you. But, you're probably not going to, you'll read it a couple times, but then after a while I'll call you and I'll say, hey, that thing you've been throwing away, open it. It says savings.
So how long, what's your longest term client?
Probably my longest term client, most of my clients have, my longest term, I guess, is since I started the business, maybe 10 years now. So I have maybe a large handful, of clients from when I first started the business. Most of my clients have more than one property. Mm-hmm. And the reason being is just, because we're managing the mortgages, they seem to want to stick around when they have more than one loan.
Because you're really a demonstration of something we teach in our Sales to Win class, to where you've taken over the concern of the client for their mortgage. In other words, it's like once they do business with you, it's like you're saying, okay, that's my problem.
Yeah.
I'm going to manage it. I'm going to take care of it. You don't have to worry about it. I'll keep track of it. If there's something you need to do, I'll hound you until you do it.
Right.
And otherwise, you don't even need to think about it.
Yeah, I'd have to say most of the transactions I'm doing every month are usually by me calling my client back.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you're an outstanding example of someone that's really taking care of their clients. So Caesar, I really want to acknowledge you for the things that you've put in place. You're an excellent example of a well-run business, and I'm really happy that you turned it around and have the nose on the plane going up, and that you're more profitable. You're a demonstration of what's possible when somebody really puts in the systems and structures and manages their business in a professional way. So I think if our listeners pay attention to the things that you've given them today, they could do a lot in their business. So I really appreciate you being on the show, and I wish you very well in your business.
Thanks, Ralph. I appreciate that. Coming from you, it's a big deal.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
There are 3 wise women at Possibilities Unlimited, and if you want to improve your business's bottom line, you'll want to get to know them because they want to help you with your business, and they can. Wise web woman Bonnie Landau will help make your website the best it can be. She'll help you with all web-related things, including social media. Wise marketing woman Mary Mullinoff wields her magic to find and obtain sales leads for you, and she'll help you identify and qualify prospects. Leanne Farmer, wise work life woman, hones your customer relations, communications, and sales skills as she teaches you how to manage your work and life in balance. There are options of coaching with one or all 3 wise women. Get to know them now. Call 310-372-8538. That's 310-372-8538, or visit consulting2win.com. That's consulting2win.com.
What does HealthyLife.net and Amazon.com have in common? Well, they're both available on the internet. They both give great value. But most important, most of our positive program hosts and guests are accomplished authors, and their books are available from, you got it, Amazon.com. Now, it even gets better than that, because when you're listening on air to a HealthyLife.net host or guest, you can go directly to Amazon.com and you can order your book while you're still listening to your favorite HealthyLife.net program. So when you hear an author you like, go to the homepage of HealthyLife.net and click on Amazon.com.
Demystify the world of social marketing and get it to work for you. You can maximize your market potential in sales, and Bonnie Landau of Possibilities Unlimited can help. Discover how to use Twitter, LinkedIn, and more to market your business. Learn how to expand your prospect base, improve your web presence, but more importantly, get results. Your possibilities are unlimited. Social networking can impact your bottom line in a positive way. Find out how with Bonnie Landau of Possibilities Unlimited. Call today at 310-372-8538. That's 310-372-8538, or visit consulting2win.com, consulting2win.com.
Do you own your own business? What would happen if your computer system crashed? Would you be able to recover in a reasonable amount of time? Left Brain Tech's computer services caters to business owners who want reliable computer systems that work and are backed up in case of emergency. For your entire computer needs, call 888-239-2216 or visit leftbraintechs.com. IT solutions done right with Left Brain Techs. That's 888-239-2216 or leftbraintechs.com.
All positive talk with a mature edge. HealthyLife.net.
Welcome back, and this is Consulting to Win.